Ms. May, when we last spoke here in my studio, you were saying, don't worry, Duff, I'll be in the debates. It's like you had a crystal ball.
I have great faith in democracy, and I have faith in the Canadian public, and the decision was manifestly unfair. And I didn't really believe that if it was public and Mr. Harper and Mr. Layton had to explain to Canadians why they would boycott the debates if I was there, that they would be able to sustain the barrage of criticism. Now, I must say I underestimated the barrage of criticism, the extent, the anger, and the beautiful opinion piece in today's Globe from former Prime Minister Joe Clark, the very strong letter from the NDP side, from Judy Rebick, also in today's Globe, the public outrage from people who've never really been involved in politics before, who saturated the call-in network airwaves and the websites, and it's just so heartening and inspiring that Canadians can't stand unfairness, and I think that bodes well for the rest of the election.
Today in the Globe and Mail, John Barber, who's their city columnist in Toronto, wrote a piece which I thought really crystallized some of the thinking around your participation in the debate. He said it's time for the NDP to fold up their tent, that the NDP are simply drawing votes away from the Liberals and allowing Tories to get elected. He pointed out Parry Sound, Muskoka, where there's 28 votes, elected the Minister of Health. Is that what we're seeing here with your party, a realignment and all of the kind of turmoil that creates?
We're seeing a realignment. It didn't start with the Greens. I think it started with the cannibalization of the Progressive Conservative Party by alliance. I think that the hard right agenda of Mr. Harper has left a lot of people who voted Tory all their lives with nowhere to go. As Mr. Clark himself says, he feels he's a political orphan. And at the same time, a lot of the people who founded the Reform and Alliance movement did so to embrace a populist politic that would respect the grassroots of their parties. So Mr. Harper's top-down autocratic style is alienating those folks. So we really do cut into the votes right across the political spectrum. We're attracting a lot of support from former Tories. We're, of course, attracting support from Liberals and NDPers as well. But the large group of Canadians for whom I have the greatest hope are those who've turned off politics altogether and don't vote. And we need to get them back engaged.
So when we look at it that way, I guess we can understand the depth of the resistance to having you on the stage, because the potential payoff for you on debate night, it's like winning a lottery.
Well, that's what Preston Manning experienced when he first was in the leaders' debates without any candidates east of Manitoba. That's what the Bloc Québécois experienced when they were first in leaders' debates without anybody, as remains to this day, outside Quebec. I think what we're seeing is that people are disenchanted with old-style politics. They're sick of the partisanship that exceeds sense, the fact that people will do anything to convince the voter that they're the only party with good ideas. I'm not going to ever say that. I know there are good ideas out there on all sides of the House, and there are decent human beings who are my friends in every single political party in this country, and I want to do politics very differently, and I think Canadians are just crying out for a fresh approach that is not disrespectful, does not mudsling, and does not allow the spin doctors to determine every word that comes out of politicians' mouth. So we'll see if I'm right and people really want to hear that new voice.